Thank you, Travis. Good evening to our viewers and welcome to tonight's regional news. We begin with news coming out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The La Soufriere volcano continued its eruption on Friday, sending a column of ash estimated at roughly 8,000 meters towards the west of the island. It is said that the explosion occurred at 6:15 a.m. local time and that the period between explosions has now lengthened to more than 40 hours. The Seismic Research Center of the University of the West Indies has a team monitoring the volcano that had its first explosive eruption last Friday. The volcano continues to erupt, although explosive activity appears to have ended at this time. Its current pattern of seismic activity may indicate growth of a lava dome, but this has not been confirmed as yet. Meanwhile, the government of Grenada announced on Wednesday that it will provide $1 million in support for the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to help deal with the impact of the explosive eruptions at the La Soufriere volcano. While the government of Antigua and Barbuda began its response efforts on Thursday, April 8th, agreed to accept 250 evacuees who would be accommodated at the Jolly Beach Hotel. Over to news from Haiti. In response to recent kidnappings of clergy and religious in Haiti and growing anarchy in the Caribbean nation, Catholic schools, churches, and other entities called for a national strike on Friday. Ironically, the global COVID-19 pandemic has not directly impacted Haiti's populations as feared, but a secondary fallout, unemployment, has further strained the local economies at the worst possible time. Unemployment is rampant, particularly among the young. The Haitian Bishops' Conference asked that church bells rang at noon across Haiti and that masses are offered for change for the better in the country following the recent kidnapping of 5 Catholic priests, 2 nuns, and 3 lay people. The victims were abducted on their way to a parish near the capital of Port-au-Prince early April 11. The silence, the prayer, the interruption of activities during the strike is intended to shake up the national conscience and urge authorities to consider and address urgently the issue of kidnappings. Now for some news coming out of Trinidad and Tobago. A 60-year-old man who suffered a blood clot and paralysis after taking the AstraZeneca vaccine has died. The man's nephew, Falil Ali, said that the man died just after 10 p.m. on Thursday. Ali said the family was expecting the worst as the man's condition deteriorated further. The man, a retired local government regional corporation health inspector, was warded at the San Fernando General Hospital for a week. He was a heart patient and underwent surgery about 10 years ago. Last Wednesday, he took the AstraZeneca vaccine at the Princestown Health Facility. By Friday, his body became partially paralyzed. A CT scan at a private institution was conducted, revealing a blood clot blocking the main artery. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Roshan Parshram said on Wednesday there are some studies coming out of the European group that there were 79 cases of a cluster of diseases that occurred in Germany and some other countries in Europe a couple weeks ago. Parshram said these cases have been investigated by the European Medical Agency as well as the World Health Organization, which is in the process of doing their final report on that particular cluster. And finally, for some international news, the chief executive of Serum Institute of India, the world's largest maker of vaccines and a critical supplier of the World Health Organization-backed COVAX facility, asked President Joe Biden on Twitter to lift the U.S. embargo on exporting raw materials needed to make the jabs. Vaccine makers and experts in India have been concerned that the use of the Defense Production Act by the United States to boost their own vaccine production was resulting in exports of critical raw materials being stopped. This was hobbling vaccine production in other parts of the world. Stephanie Bancel, Chief Executive Officer for Moderna, said in an online event that export embargoes were also preventing American vaccine makers from exporting shots globally and resulting in shortages. Separately, 10 Democratic senators are urging Biden to back India and South Africa's appeal to the World Trade Organization to temporarily relax intellectual property rules so coronavirus vaccines can be manufactured by nations that are struggling to inoculate their populations. Well, that has brought us to the end of tonight's regional news. Thank you for watching, and back to you, Travis.